Don't look now, but we are just days away from the start of the Disc Golf Pro Tour season. So you might be wondering what this year's schedule looks like. Well, there are many changes coming in 2025, with some tournaments being taken off the schedule, new tournaments being added, and major adjustments to tournaments being brought back from last year. So join me as we go over the entire Disc Golf Pro Tour schedule for this year. Hey everyone, Kalahale DG here, and I am excited to go over the Pro Tour schedule for 2025. I was really surprised with how many changes that were made. First off, it looks like the schedule has been trimmed a bit, and it appears that there will be less back-to-back weekends of tournaments. As a disc golf fanatic, I'm sad to see less tournaments, but I'm sure for the players this is a welcome sign, as they will have more time to prepare for each event and have more opportunities to rest and recover during a long season. And a long season it will be, as we have a lot to cover, so let's jump right into the schedule. As with every year, the tour starts with the All-Star event, and in 2025, it will be completely changed. In the past, the All-Star event was its own separate weekend, but this year it is going to be a one-day event on February 27th, the day before the first event of the year, the Discraft Supreme Flight Open. And instead of MPO and FPO doing a skills competition, doubles round, and singles round, it will just be a mixed doubles competition. On the website, the Disc Golf Pro Tour says it'll be featuring 9 holes of best shot doubles, followed by 9 holes of alternate shot doubles. The top 6 MPO players will draft the bottom 6 FPO players, and the top 6 FPO players will draft from the bottom 6 MPO players. I actually welcome this change, as the All-Star event has been kind of lackluster the last few years. I do wish that they still had the skills competition, as for me, that is the most entertaining portion of the event. However, mixed doubles will be such a great watch, as we will get to see how different pairs work together. One thing I do wish is that there was some sort of big payout for the event so that the players would take it seriously, but regardless, this should be a welcome change for both fans and players. Now, like I said, the All-Star event leads right into the first day of competition and our first 3-day Elite Series tournament, the Discraft Supreme Flight Open at the Olympus course in Brooksville, Florida on February 28th. This was one of the best courses on tour last year, as the top scores stayed around the 7 under to 9 under range. It was really difficult, but very fair. I'm really glad to see this one back on the schedule. Then on March 14th, the tour heads to Texas for Waco. Now, Waco will be downgraded from an Elite Plus event and shortened from 4 rounds to 3 rounds. They will also be dropping the Lake Waco course and playing the event exclusively at Brazos East. Honestly, Brazos East is a much more exciting course to watch than Lake Waco, so this is another good change by the Pro Tour. The following weekend will be the Open at Austin, and that event will be upgraded back to an Elite Plus event. They will play 2 rounds at Harvey Pennock, which is a track that they have used in the last few years. They will also be adding Sprinkle Valley, a tough wooded course used by the FPO in last year's US Women's Championship. Sprinkle Valley, although is kind of ugly this time of year, is a challenging course, and I'm very excited to see how the MPO attacks this track, as we already know how well it played for FPO last year. Now, this will be the last event in Texas before we head to Nashville for the Music City Open in Nashville, Tennessee on April 4th. No big changes here, they'll still be playing the 3 rounds at Mill Ridge. On April 18th, we will be seeing a new Elite Series event, the Kansas City Wide Open, for 3 rounds at Bad Rock Creek. Now, Kansas City Wide Open has been a historic event spanning 40 plus years, and over the years, we have seen many big names play the event. In fact, in 2023, the tour added this as a Silver Series event on the same course. Gannonburr won that event and famously broke one of the holes by taking a wild line outside of the woods. This forced the TD to put a Mando mid-tournament. Now, I think Bad Rock Creek is a great course for the tour, and I'm excited to see what changes were made to the course since 2023's event. Now, after the Kansas City Wide Open, the tour heads all the way out to Stockton, California for the first PDGA Major of the year, Champions Cup, beginning on May 1st. Now, this is the first change we're going to discuss that I'm not the biggest fan of. Champions Cup has previously been held at Northwood Black and WR Jackson, both very wooded courses, which really gave Champions Cup the identity of that wooded major. Well, in 2025, it will be the exact opposite, as they will be playing 4 rounds at the Swenson course, which is a temp layout on an open golf course. I know this was made to accommodate the tour schedule and based on who placed bids for a major, but I really wish the PDGA would have kept the wooded theme going. After the first major, the tour continues its West Coast swing, heading north to Shelton, Washington for the Cascade Challenge, a new 3-round Elite Series event starting on May 16th. Similar to Kansas City Wide Open, we did see the Cascade Challenge as a silver event in 2023, and the Shelton Springs Disc Golf Course has some of the best Pacific Northwest scenery. It's also great to see another venue that features woods golf added to the schedule. On May 23rd through the 25th, we will kick off the European Elite Series events, starting with the Kona Piste in Prague, Czechia. Now this is where we start to see a split in the tour, with most Europeans heading home to play the local events, while most American players stay in the US to play the 3 US tournaments before the 2 majors across the pond. So I don't expect the field to be too stacked for Kona Piste, but we will likely see some prominent European names on coverage. On the following weekend, we will be back in the US, and we will have the Northwest Disc Golf Championship in Portland, Oregon. This will be a 4-round Elite Plus event combining 2 of the biggest events in Oregon last year, the Beaver State Fling and the Portland Open. There will be 2 rounds at the Glendoveer course used in the Portland Open, and 2 rounds at Milo McIver featured in the Beaver State Fling. This will be a stellar event, as Oregon always seems to put on a show for disc golf. Also, it is going to be a dry run for the Future World Championship that was just announced recently, heading to Portland in 2027. Back to Europe we go. On June 6th through the 8th, we have the Ale Open, I hope I'm saying that right, in Knoll, Sweden. Now the Ale Disc Golf course is one of the highest rated courses on UDisc, so this will be fun to watch it featured again on the Pro Tour. Then on June 13th, we have the Preserve Championship. No big changes here. It's still going to be at the Airborne Disc Golf Preserve. This will be followed by the PDGA US Women's Championship Major in Manitowoc, Wisconsin, at Silver Creek Disc Golf Course. Now, I don't know much on this course, but I always welcome seeing new courses featured on tour. On June 27th, we have the start of the Discmania Challenge in Des Moines at the same course, Pickard Park. This will be the last stop in the US before a month-long swing in Europe. On the 4th of July, we will have the PCS Open returning to the Elite Series at the stunning Overås Disc Golf Park in Norway, featuring one of the best trophies in disc golf. On July 11th, then, we head over to Oslo, Norway for the Krokel Open. Then on July 17th, we have the European Disc Golf Festival in Tallinn, Estonia, a new PDGA major substituting for the European Open. Now, I have no clue why we don't just call this the European Open. I know that the courses typically used in that event will be used for Worlds, but it just seems odd to add a temp major when we already have the European Open, a very established, esteemed event. Now, this will be 4 rounds at the Tallinn Song Festival grounds, which they played in last year's event. What's cool is it has a giant stadium that they throw out of for hole 1, and hopefully that'll give this tournament that major title energy that it needs. Then on July 30th, we head to Finland for the PDGA World Championships, the most important tournament of the year, being played in Europe for the first time ever. They will play the Beast in Nokia and then the Monster in Tampere, which were courses used in last year's European Open. As with every year, I am very hyped for this year's Worlds, as both courses are immaculate and the crowds, I believe, will be huge. Now, if you're interested in hearing my early predictions on who will win the World Championship, stay tuned, as I'll be doing an early predictions video very soon. Now, immediately following the World Championships, we have the Turku Open in Turku, Finland on August 8th through the 10th. And then finally on August 14th, we head back to the US for the Ledgestone Open in Peoria, Illinois for the next Elite Plus event. Northwood Black will return to the schedule after being taken out last year due to Champions Cup using a modified version of this course. So this will follow along the same course schedule that we've seen for Ledgestone in previous years. On August 22nd, the tour heads to Burlington, Kentucky for the LWS Open at Idlewild. Next up, we have the Great Lakes Open on September 3rd, playing 4 rounds at the Toboggan course. This will be the last Elite Series event before the start of the Disc Golf Pro Tour playoffs. The first playoff event will be the Green Mountain Championships at Smuggler's Notch Resort in Vermont from September 18th through the 21st. Then we'll move on to the most iconic non-major event of the year, and that is the MVP Open on the beautiful Maple Hill course on September 25th. This finally leads us to what is typically the most exciting tournament of the year at Winthrop Gold's in Rock Hill, South Carolina, the United States Disc Golf Championship Major, and the Throw Pink Women's Disc Golf Championship. Winthrop Gold always brings the drama with a unique, challenging course. The finishes over the last few years have been epic, and I'm stoked to see what this year's tournament will bring. This is the final standard stroke play event of the season, which leads us to the grand finale, the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship in Virginia. It's not confirmed on what the format will be, but the Disc Golf Pro Tour has a history of changing the format almost every year for this event. So I personally would rather see this played as a normal tournament with a separate points race between the top 10 competitors. Something similar to what NASCAR does, but I'm not sure if that's what they're gonna do this year. Now, as far as the courses are concerned, the Pro Tour will be moving from Charlotte to Lynchburg, Virginia. This is where the New London Tech course is. However, the New London Tech course is gonna be undergoing some major construction as 9 of the holes are gonna be replaced. So I'm unsure if that course is gonna be ready in time. They may play Ivy Hill, which was also used in last year's Worlds. Now, there was an article today released by the Disc Golf Pro Tour announcing their 2025 live coverage plan for DGN. And on it, it mentions that there's gonna be a Disc Golf Pro Tour Match Play Championship. There's no word on what those events will be, but I'm sure we'll get more details on that in the coming weeks and months ahead. Now, you might have noticed that some tournaments are missing from this year's schedule, including the Texas State Championships, Jonesboro Open, and the Dynamic Disc Open. We also don't have the OTB Open, but that's being replaced with Champions Cup. The Pro Tour did make a statement saying that these tournaments have a chance to return in 2026, so they are not gone for good. Personally, the Jonesboro Open has always been a favorite of mine, so I'm a little sad to see that taken off the schedule, but overall, we still have several great events lined up for this season. So this is the full 2025 Disc Golf Pro Tour schedule. Let me know what you think of the changes, and also let me know which event you are excited for most this season in the comments below. I don't know about you, but I am ready for the season to begin. So with this excitement comes more videos from me, getting us prepared for the season. So be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a single upload. I'm Kalaheo DG. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out the latest off-season news in the video link on screen.